a stew.
A pinch of salt and laughter too.
A scoop of kids to add the spice.
A dash of love to make it nice. And you've got
Too many cooks.
too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Hello everybody, I'm Silvia Jameson, but you can just call me Auntie Silvia. I'm 57 years old, I'm a Republican homemaker, and I'm a card-carrying member of MRSA. And here, today, we are going to be baking a Duncan Hines classic yellow cake, my favorite. As we are cooking this succulent, titillating cake, Auntie Silvia is going to teach you about photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Coated pans. Okay, so we're gonna need, what is it again? 350. Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you viewers, this isn't going to be any ordinary cake. This is going to be an educational cake. And to make this cake, this is what we're gonna need. We're gonna need 3 large eggs, fresh, a cup of water, and a cup of vegetable oil. I will get the water and I will be right back. Okay, so now that we've got our water, be careful not to spill it. Okay, so we got that. And, okay, so the first step is we preheated the oven, kind of. Grease sides and bottom of pan, we'll do that later because I'm lazy. Blend cake mix, water, oil, and eggs in a large bowl at low speed until moistened. Moist. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open the box. Also, you can't have cake. Okay, so the next thing you wanna do is you're gonna take this white powdery stuff and you're gonna wanna put it into the bowl. Shut up! That is a lot of cake mix. A lot of powder. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna add is a mystery. I will not tell you what it is, although you can probably see it. It's wet and clear. You guessed it, water, you're smart. You're gonna pour that in, and that doesn't seem like enough water, but oh well. I think I know what I'm doing. You're gonna add your egg. Okay. And the last thing you're going to want to do, I'm sorry, I choked it all there, is you're going to want to pour in your vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. Reminds me of my most recent ex-husband, Umberto. I'm not sure why. Maybe the fact that he was yellow and disgusting. Good times, good times. Hold on a second, I'm parched.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
When it comes to me and you.
All better. Okay, so now you're gonna wanna mix this. Ooh, it's thick. Okay, so here we're gonna talk about photosynthesis. A big part of photosynthesis is how a plant or animal, or really anything, can obtain its food. There are 2 categories of these living things. Autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are basically like like organisms that can basically take the sun's energy and use it to make their own energy as a viable source of life, and that's how they thrive on things. Heterotrophs, on the other hand, get their energy from eating these autotrophs or other heterotrophs. They get their energy from things that have other stored energy, or is that really how you could really say it? Okay, so after you're done mixing for like 10,000 years, you're gonna want to spray your pan. We're using a fine Pyrex glass pan, very pretty. It's new. I stole it from my neighbor. You're gonna want to spray it with cooking spray. Today we're using canola oil cooking spray. Canola oil. That reminds me of the time I went to St. Paul, Minnesota. They had this huge, vast slip and slide thing. It was a lot of fun. It was when I was like 32 or something like that, years and years ago. Okay, so yeah, what happened was I found at the end that they used canola oil instead of water on the slip and slide. Guess what? I'm allergic to canola oil. Okay, so after you're done spraying your pan, the next thing you want to do is put the batter, I forgot what it was called, don't judge, I'm old, into the pan. Now, it doesn't matter if you use a little too much oil or if you get it a little too wet. It'll all come out baked in the oven. It's fine. So the next thing you want to, after greasing the pan, you're going to want to pour the batter into the pan and bake it immediately. Okay, so we're just going to do that real quick. So the next thing I'm going to tell you about is cellular respiration. And what cellular respiration is, it's the process of how cells break down sugars and other things like glucose that fall under that category. How they break it down so cells can use it as viable energy. Sounds like a long word, but trust me, it's hard to wrap your head around. It took me 35 years. Okay, this cellular respiration happens in all forms of life and whatever thing you're living. Okay, so now that you're done pouring, the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to put it in the oven. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Hold on a second. There is math behind science. Yes, I know. The chemical equation for photosynthesis is 6 carbon dioxide atoms plus 6 water atoms, which will equal eventually through the power of light energy, which will equal glucose and oxygen. Fun. The equation, who even scripts this? God, I hate math. For cellular respiration, however, is glucose and oxygen, which through light energy will release carbon dioxide and water. Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse process. It's a cycle, if you can wrap your head around that. And H2O. That reminds me of the time my son spit my niece's birthday cake. Okay, so now that we're done pouring the batter into the thing, what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna get the pan thing into the oven, which is preheated by now, potentially. And remember, kids, always use protection whenever you think danger is near. I learned the hard way. God, that's hot! Okay, so now that it is in the oven, the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the timer is on. And okay, so we're going to put it on for, I believe it said 23 minutes. But I'm old, so I really won't remember. If it turns out burned, I'm sorry.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
It takes a lot to make.
Ah, what a sweet child. Ah, it bit me! Stupid baby. Okay, so the oven just beeped, and I can say, this cake smells like it's hot and ready, just like Little Caesars Pizza. Shout out to Little Caesars. Pizza, pizza. Ooh, that's hot! Shut up, I got it. Okay, so I've just taken the cake out of the oven, and it looks really good, as you can see. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check to see if the cake is hot and ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the knife and we're going to poke it into the cake to see if it's ready. Looks ready to me. So the cake is ready to be iced. We're just going to let this cool for a second. But as you can see, there are a bunch of little tiny air bubbles, which is good when you're baking a cake. It's nice. It's nice. And air bubbles is kind of loosely related to cellular respiration. So cellular respiration is like the release of energy that's not needed in the cell, which is really what happens when there's a release of air, because the air is energy. Pretty much that's how it happens. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to ice the cake, clearly. And right now we have 4 colors of ice pre-made. We have red, blue, brown, and black, the color of my soul. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna ice it. I think we should start with the red. But before we move on, it's time for our special little bit, Silvia's Corner. And make it quicker next time. And for all you new viewers, what Silvia's Corner is where I read all these comments and Twitter feeds and stuff like that I get from all my followers on the interweb, or whatever the cool kids on MTV are calling it. Okay, so first question on Silvia's Corner. User George Atlanta from Atlanta, Georgia asks, how does a chloroplast relate to the process of photosynthesis? Well, George, the chloroplast is basically an organelle inside of a plant cell. And what its function is to take in sunlight and convert it to energy for the cell. And the energy for the cell is called chlorophyll. I'm pretty sure you heard that before. It's also used as a pigment for the cells, which is what gives leaves and other things a nice green color. Gerard Slay from the North asks, what is ATP? It sounds dangerous. ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is a sequence of chemicals created by the mitochondria inside plant and animal cells. It provides energy for the cell. When the phosphate rung breaks, it releases energy, also creating a new sequence of chemical reactions called adenosine diphosphate. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. From Kansas City, Belgium asks, what does a 6 mean in 6 CO2? Well, Kansas, it means that you click your red heels 6 times to get your little pretty behind home. Nah, I'm just kidding. It means that there are 6 carbon dioxide molecules. Paula Dean from I Can't Believe It's Not Butterville asks, Sylvia, are you trying to steal my show again? Now, Paula, go back to your huge tub of butter and your Pretty Little Liars marathon. I've known you since preschool, Paula, well enough to know you by now. Get your racist little behind back off the MTV. Susan from Your Mom asks, I hate your show. Go back to your mom. And guess what? Your mom. Well, Susan, I think it's time you go see a therapist, also known as your mom. You know what? I'm sick of all these people blocking out the haters. Well, that's all about it for Silvia's Corner. Can we make this a little quicker? I didn't hire you for nothing. I'm not paying you 10 cents a week. Okay, getting back to baking. I've just taken, well, I didn't just take, I've had it out for a little while now, so good, cool. I've taken the thing out of the pan, and you can see it's very boxed, like looking like a plant cell already. And the next thing we're doing is we're gonna ice it so it looks like an actual plant cell. Okay, so we're gonna start by icing the thing that takes up like 85% of the cell, which is the cytoplasm. Now, because it's gonna take a pretty long while, we are gonna speed this up so we don't take like 9 minutes of your time.
To me and you,
And him and her and the baby too. Too many cooks, it's true.
you say it goes, it'll spoil the broth.
Honey, I think that's not true.
Well, maybe too many cooks will spoil the broth, but they'll fill our hearts with so much love. Too many cooks. A family is like a soup.
Everyone adds an extra scoop.
Mix an ounce of smile so sweet.
A dash of cool to add the heat. And you've got
Too many cooks.
too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many.
Here's the final product. a plant cell alien baby cake. I am a nut job. I mean, in a nutshell, sorry, I'm old. We have a plant cell cake that kind of looks like an alien baby, but however you want to look at it. I hope you learned a lot today from our deliciously edible educational lesson. If only you could taste this magnificent cake. It tastes like the scrapings from the bottom of my ex-husband Banana Juan's feet. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Silvia's Kitchen. I'm Auntie Silvia. If you would like to contact me personally, you can call me on my work number at 666-666-6666. Or you can find me on my shop on the street corner. You'll usually find me there. I hope you learned a lot from today's lesson. Tune in next time.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.